All right, I am here with Greg, and you do some very cool stuff. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about your journey.
Where would you like me to start?
Football.
Football.
I know you got the knee.
Yeah,
you showed
so
me some of your battle
yeah, all
wounds here.
the scars there. Okay,
Yeah.
so growing up, I was always interested in tinkering and optimizing my performance when it came to athletics. Always wanting to figure out ways to be, bigger and faster and stronger, and figure out how I could get the next edge. I watched my dad be very much into exercise, and he had his whole bodybuilding thing, and we'd watch the Rocky movies together and all of that. So I was very much interested in figuring out how I could get the edge on, my competition essentially, and that led me, to be interested in like the tinkering, like I was saying. So nutrition, exercise, these sorts of things. I didn't really look at it from necessarily a holistic point of view back then. It was much more from a performance point of view. But after I got done playing football, I took it all the way to playing Division I college football, and I was left with 7 reconstructive surgeries, including a fractured femur, a couple ACL tears, rotator cuff labrum, everything, under the kitchen sink. So
now it changed because you had to repair your body.
So at that point, my early 20s, I was left with, figuring out who I was, because now this identity that I had was gone, and I'm like broken down physically, and also like mentally. I'm like have this pedestal that I was on taken away from me. So now I'm having this essentially this crisis of figuring out who I am in this world, and I that's right about the time that I started getting into meditation, and through meditation I started getting into breath work. And it's just the rest is history from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you have a whole practice now.
Yeah.
You do retreats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So the retreats started when I got certified in the WimHof method.
Right.
So
now, what is that? What is the WimHof?
Okay. Method? So the WimHof method, a Dutch gentleman by the name of Wim Hof. He's long-time yogi, made different voyages, in his youth to India and Tibet to learn from, some of the greatest, yogis and monks of our time. He was walking through the frozen winter time of Holland, and saw a frozen lake, and I had this internal urge to go jump in there for some reason. And what he did say, broke ice and jumped in there, and what he came back from, what he got out of that was this moment of clarity, because it was a sharp interruption of the mental pain that he had been in, and it was just this aha moment. Put all the pieces together. So the 3 pillars of the Wim Hof method. So there's the breath, there's your mindset, and there's a cold. And when you connect the 3 of these, you're able to tap deeper into yourself, to the depths of your soul, as he likes to say, and also and be able to adjust things at will. So you can influence your autonomic nervous system, which then you can adjust your immune system. This is all backed by science. So he took this to the Western world through the vehicle of science, which is our Western religion, and basically proved that by injecting himself with something like E. coli, he's able to eradicate it out of his system without any side effects, just by simply breathing. It's literally rewriting the biology books, because now things that we thought were outside of our control are now proven to be actually within our control. It's just a matter of how to go about doing so. So he's basically saying I'm not a superhuman, because we all want to think that anyone who has an ability to do something special is superhuman. He, his whole thing is that no, anyone's able to do this. So that caught my attention at a young age, because I came from a Western medicine household. My dad was a doctor. I grew up very much in that kind of a mindset, and Western and Eastern philosophies don't really tend to mix. They're very much you're either one or the other. So, but now here's someone who's connecting these 2 worlds, and that's amazing. And it's and he's connecting it through the explanation of science, which is it's grounded, right? It's not some esoteric. So that spoke to me then. I feel like it speaks to a lot of Western people. That was the catalyst for me. That I really launched from there into getting more into yoga, not just doing the breath work that's part of the 3 pillars, but
right.
just learning about different ways I can achieve stillness in my life, and noticing like when I have stillness in my life, and what gives me the best shot at achieving stillness, whether it's going for a run on the beach, a swim, like a workout, sitting there in lotus pose, meditating, or doing some deep breath work, and figuring out what's I essentially call it a flow state, and seeking that flow state in all areas of life. You wonder why they don't teach this in school.
That's one of my pet peeves. Obviously, you know, on our show we always focus on mental fitness, because when anybody hears mental health, they immediately think, oh, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven forbid that we should do things that are actually good for our mental state of being, emotional state of being, spiritual state of being, without there having to be a problem. It's just be part of our day-to-day activity, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you also are associated, you work with mushroom therapy as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. So part of my coaching practice, I encourage my clients to, expand their consciousness in a number of different ways. I think working towards, achieving greater consciousness in this life is all about, it's a constant journey, right? We're never really getting there, right?
Right.
Mushrooms are a fantastic vehicle to help with that, whether it be in a microdose sense, where you're now churning up the present moment awareness, the vividness of maybe the beauties of the natural world in the present moment throughout the day. Whereas you're gonna be less distracted. You're gonna be more in tune with who you're communicating with, more in tune with yourself and what your purpose is. Right. When you think back to the end of your day, you're not gonna be intoxicated, or or it's not really gonna have much of a psychoactive effect.
Right.
It just when you go back and audit your day, you're gonna be able to ask yourself, was I more present? Was I more in tune? And probably the answer is going to be yeah, especially if you are feeling like you're in a bit of a funk, right?
So you think that the football, the injuries, but your interest in this early on is what stimulated your passion in all of this?
I think it was a segue into it, for sure. Right. Yeah, it was a segue into wanting to basically, not just like heal myself and to find my, purpose, my meaning, but was ultimately it's to help people. For my, my passion in this world, my calling is to impact the world, at a large degree, a large level. I love working with individuals and one-on-ones with people, but I really I'm after helping people, the masses, achieve greater states of happiness and overall greater well-being in this existence. I want to give people these tools, like these pillars that go towards greater happiness, health, and wellness.
Great. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks,
pleasure.
Greg. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching Passionate Living. If what you watched moved you or inspired you, the best way you can show us is by liking and commenting on the video, as well as subscribing to the channel.